the final game of the weekend. Final game of the weekend coming on up, and we are all good to go. How guys, going to BKR Sport? We are live for the Canterbury Bulldogs taking on the Newcastle Knights in a game at a core stadium in Sydney, which you would expect the Bulldogs to win this game, but there has been a lot of significant upsets this weekend, significant losses to the teams that were expected to win. So maybe you could throw the Knights in as a little bit of a sneaky. You know, besides that Titans game, they have won their other two games and they've got the bye. So, you know, they had a bad performance against the Titans. Maybe they've gone into the bye and had a little bit of a think about where they are at and improved. And maybe the Bulldogs come in overconfident. I don't know. This is just kind of the upset nature that we have been seeing over these last couple of days in the NRL. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But we're going to pump through these two-team lineups. The game starts in 5 minutes' time. So let's obviously go and hit that thumbs up button, guys. Subscribe if you are new around here. We are so close. We are getting so close now to 30,000 subscribers. We're only a couple hundred away. So let's absolutely bang it on in. Now, the Bulldogs come into this game from 3rd position, whilst the Knights come into this game from 9th position. Like I said, this is at a core stadium in Sydney, and the Dogs do have a couple of ins and a couple of outs, but they do still have some outs that you won't hear here, like your Matty Burton and your Viliami Kikau, that do impact their team. Now, the ins, Blake Taff, Jacob Kiraz, and Lipboy Hopoi, they're in with Blake Wilson, Jonathan Sewer, and Siteli Tupanua, who is out. You go to the fullback, Connor Tracy, the wingers, Marcelo Montoya, and Jacob Kiraz. He comes back into the team. The centers are Bronson Cherry and Stephen Crichton, the captain. 5'8", Bailey Hayward, with the halfback being Toby Sexton. The front row forwards are Max King and Daniel Saluka Fafita. And the number 9 is Reid Marnie. The back row, Josh Curran and Jacob Preston, with the 13 being Jamin Salmon. Interchanges Kurt Mann, Harry Hayes, Jack Todd, and Blake Taff, with the 18th man replacement being Lipboy Hopoi. And the coach is Cameron Serraldo, or people in the chat like to call him Ronaldo Serraldo. Look, Dogs, as a team, it's going to be interesting to see how their halves go today. I don't think this is going to be easy, as a lot of Dogs fans probably would expect, especially considering they haven't lost a game so far this season. But that is a worrying mindset to have, considering that there is a lot of upsets this round. Do the Dogs probably win? Sure. But do not just think that this is an easy one by any means. And there is things to pick at in regards to this Bulldogs lineup, but they should win based off of their lineup. Now, the Knights, their ins, big in, Leo Thompson. He comes into the team with Kyle McCarthy going out. Leo Thompson is a big player, man. He's a big boy. He's good for the job, even though he's only there for one more year before, guess what? He goes to the Bulldogs. So he has a lot to prove today. He's going to come in and try and absolutely show off in front of his new team, which is going to be a big one for him. Now, the fullback, Ponga, he's the captain. The wingers are James Schiller and Greg Martiu. Centers are Dane Gagai and Brabham Best. You go to the 5'8", of Fletcher Sharp with the halfback Jack Cogger. The front row forwards are Jacob Saifidi and Leo Thompson. 9 is Phoenix Crossland. The back row is Thomas Cant and Tyson Frizzell with the 13, Adam Elliott. Interchange is Jaden Brayley, Jack Hetherington, Jermaine McEwen, and Matt Croker. 18th man replacement is Brodie Jones, and the coach is Adam O'Brien. Still don't believe in Adam O'Brien, but you know he'll always get it done at the back end of the year to save his job. This Knights team is pieced together in the halves for sure. The forwards are a bit how you go on, but the Knights forwards always work hard for it. They're known as that kind of hard-working team in that department, but even though they don't have exactly the greatest forward pack on paper. And then you go to the back line. The back line's actually really good. Callum Ponga, James Schiller, Dane Gagai, Brabham Best, and Greg Martiu. As a collective, I would say that back line is actually probably better on a balanced level than the Dogs 1 through 5, but the Dogs 1 through 5 is also great. I think Stephen Crichton does bring them to that next level, which is the benefit there for the Dogs. But that 1 through 5 for the Newcastle Knights, defensively, you could look at it and go, defensively, you could have issues with it for sure. But overall, it's a good battle between the 1 through 5, actually. I wouldn't even necessarily lean to the Knights there. I would say it's a really good battle there. Knights come out to the field now. The halves battle, geez, that's a tough one. That's a wash. That's a wash there. Bailey Hayward, Fletcher Sharp, Toby Sexton, Jack Cogger. Overall, it is a wash there. There's no clear and defined leader between the two. And the Knights have had serious issues with their halves for years now. That's why they went and signed Dylan Brown, even though I don't think he's a 7, which is what they signed him for. He should be 6, and then they'd still need a 7 realistically. But that would be a wash in today's game. The props, I do lean with Jacob Saifidi and Leo Thompson there over Max King and Saluka Fafita. The 9 of Reid Marnie versus Crossland. I take Reid Marnie there, even though he is a grub, bro. But Dogs fans will love him. Everybody else will be like, he's a grub, man. He's unfortunately a part of the reason why we're seeing this crackdown in high tackles this week. The back rowers, I definitely take the Bulldogs back rowers of Preston and Curran over Thomas Cant and Tyson Frizzell. And the 13 of Salmon versus Elliott is a bit of a wash there. I would nearly even arguably lean towards Elliott, but it would be a very slight lean. They're very, very much on kind of like that decent enough 13 range. And the interchange, I'm probably going to go with the Knights here. I do like Jayden Brayley, Hetherington, McEwen, and Croker, maybe a little bit more over Kurt Mann, Harry Hayes, Jack Todd, and Blake Taft. So I actually think this will be a good game. I don't think the Dogs win 13 plus, even though people are probably going to lean that way. The Dogs, obviously, if they win this game, they will go back into first position. If they lose this game, then because of that big win for the Storm, the Bulldogs would drop down to third. They obviously stay above the Warriors or the Rabbitohs unless they were to lose this game by 50, which is just not going to happen. That would be they have to lose by 52 to go below the Rabbitohs. They've got a plus 46 differential. So the Bulldogs won't be moving too much, but they either go back into first outright or they drop down to third with that big win for Melbourne, and the Broncos getting that win yesterday against the Tigers. They're on plus 66. But that doesn't really matter if they just keep winning games because of their points different. Because the fact they're outright with the most wins as we currently speak, they have not lost. The Knights, on the other hand, they are in ninth position. If they win this game, they are equal with the Titans, the Raiders, and Manly already, so they would go above all those teams into sixth position, and then it would come down to points differential against the Rabbitohs and the Warriors and whatnot. They won't be able to get above the Bulldogs unless they were to win this game by a good 26 points. 26 would take the Dogs down to 20, and the Knights, 26 would take them up to 20 to plus 22. So yeah, they would have to win by about 26 points to go above the Dogs there. Actually, they're minus 4, so if they won by 8, they would actually go above the Rabbitohs, and then they would also go above the Warriors with a 10-point win here. So the Knights actually have a chance to go into the top 4 with this game, but very difficult to see that happening. I will take the Bulldogs to win, but I absolutely will say that the Knights have an opportunity to win if they play any better than they did against the Titans, because they were awful against the Titans. They were really, really bad. So if they can play any better and come in and utilise Kalmaponga well, then shit, we could see a Knights upset here. But hopefully we have a good game to finish off a pretty good round of footy, really close across the board. Thumbs up, subscribe. The game is on, and the Knights are at the 30 on 4 tackle. Burko says, go the Doggies. Brendan says, please be an upset. Come on, Newey. I just want a good game, that's for sure. I just want a good game. So fit tackle. Now the Knights will have a bit of an iffy kick that lands at the 20, but geez, it bounced awkwardly for Tracy, and it gets taken down to the 25. Oh, James Schiller is rocked. He's going to have to come up for a HIA. He's bleeding out of the ear here. Damn, that's an early injury. Hope he's all right. Touch wood. God bless him. That is an early injury to James Schiller. He's bleeding out of his right ear. Knights 13 plus. How do Whipperata says, I don't know about 13 plus. If they win it, surely it will be 1 or 12. I don't know about 13 plus though. And now the Bulldogs just have to come up with the same intensity they came against the Sharks. They can't come in complacent here because the Knights are the perfect type of team to see a complacent team and capitalise on that. They are the perfect team because no one considers the Knights that red hot. Fit tackle here for the Bulldogs to the 40, and that's over years and years. So even when they were really bad, the Knights of the mid-2010s were the worst team I've ever seen in my life. And that's not even, just banter. That's just me straight up saying that they were worse than the Eels recently. They were worse than the Tigers. That Knights team was really poor. So, it was just unfortunate head contact with the look of a feeder for James Schiller. They've stopped the clock. So, if the Dogs come in underwhelming here and they think they've already got the game in the bag, they lose this game. If they come in underwhelming, they lose this game. But I will tip the Dogs that they don't come in underwhelming and they do give it. They do go red hot. Does anyone know if I get a chance to enjoy Blocker's co-commentary today? I hope not. He would normally be on the earlier game though, wouldn't he? Do you know that we are on we're not on daylight savings anymore? There you go. Broggy Sports, hello. Daniel says, no, it's Kipper Cronk on co-commentary. Dogs have 1.5 forwards on the bench. So the Dogs put this ball up in the air. I do feel like we'll see a big score early. I think someone will score quite early. Well, they might take them over the sideline. No, Knights with the ball at the 10. Apparently to the last game where we saw it took a little bit to get into the game. I think that we definitely can see in this game an early score from one of these two teams to set the precedent. So third tackle now, and they'll be at the 20. What happened to Schiller? Yeah, it was a head clash. The side of it. Oh, knock on from the 9 to the 22. Okay, Bulldogs, you get a great first attacking opportunity. See, he says, hi, bloke's been a while on it, mate. Get around you. Dogs by 12, Isaac says. Well, this isn't a good start here for Newcastle. That's the thing, Hillbilly, if you're still watching. That's a correct call in regards to a ball plant. The one in the Manly game was not. That one, however, is absolutely a ball plant and the correct call. Thank you, Skunkle, for letting SpongeBob know where to watch it. All right, so that's going to be Salmon now. Gets off to Max King. And Max King is 15 out. Yes, Saifidi off as well. Oh, lost ball. And then the Bulldogs will lose one themselves. The Bulldogs will lose. He's asking to challenge it. He's asking to challenge it here. And I don't think... Oh, they are going to challenge this. They are going to challenge it. 2.5 minutes in. Yeah, I think this will be a strip. Oh, maybe not, actually. Maybe not. This might be an unsuccessful challenge early. Willie's watching on his third hold. It comes down to if Tyson Frizzell actually tries to rake this out with his hand. Yeah, no, it is. Absolutely. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. If I'm the Dogs, I would actually go for the try here. And this is different to what I said in the Manly-Melbourne game. I think contextually you go for the try here. I think you would. Thought Manly would do better than today. I don't know about their title credentials. Well, I tipped the Storm, but I thought they would win 1-12, not 13+. Because of the rivalry. So they are going to tap and go here. I would go for the try here. Oh, they're going to go for the goal here, Dogs. I disagree. I would disagree with this. I would disagree with this. After some consultation, they've decided to go for the penalty. Well, we saw how well that worked out for Manly in the last game. I don't actually agree that you go for the 2 in this situation. It's like, okay, the Dogs are the best defensive team in the competition. Maybe not so much this year, but sure. But you'd want to set the precedence here with an early try, considering you're 20 metres out in this situation. I guess it is different to what I was saying with the Manly-Melbourne game, but I think that game has... Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't have personally gone for this. I thought they would have wanted to set the precedence early. All right, so, yeah, but we thought the Manly versus Melbourne game was going to be a close one too, Hadaroni, and then Manly got beaten by, nearly had 50 put past them. They had 48 put past them. So Crichton is going for the penalty goal here. So Gagai's gone to the right wing. I don't know what the next part was, but Gagai's moved to the right wing here with that James Schiller going off. So Crichton will take the lead here, so it will be 2-0. It will be 2-0 to the Dogs. I don't know. I'm a bit irked by that decision. I just think that the Dogs should have had a lot more confidence in themselves. I feel like they should have had a lot more confidence in themselves there. And you could tell Reid Marnie wasn't happy with it. It's great to see unpredictable games across all rounds so far. Yeah. Yeah, but no one's really... Like, the Storm lost the Dragons, but no one's really overall stood out a great deal. Besides the Dogs were undefeated, but, they haven't played exactly anybody just yet. So 4 minutes in, and they'll get this ball here to the 15. Like the Sharks should have been, but then the Dogs haven't been well there. It just comes down to if they can have the same mentality for this game like they had for the last game. Second tackle now for the Dogs at the 20. And Reid Marnie off to Saluka Fafita at the 25, third tackle. I just really hope this is a close game. Because I would love that, last game was an awful one because it was a blowout, a big score. We had a couple of blowouts yesterday, unfortunately. We did have a great game in the Eels Dragons, but the first 5 games of the round, the Thursday, the 2 Friday, and then the first game on Saturday were all fantastic. 4 straight close games, but then it just blew out from there. All right, so Toby Sexton here will put this one down for a simple one for Kalen Ponga to grab. And then they give it out to Greg Martiu, who brings it out to the 30 or so. Sharks has pissed me off in crunch moments, but Hines gets too much hate. Hines does get too much hate, but he didn't have a good game on Thursday. Finally get to watch the game live here in the UK while listening to you. Good stuff, man. So they give this ball out to... Jeez, that's good. That's good intensity there from the Dogs defensively. They are all on side, so it's fine. They're just getting up really quickly. Mitchell says, yes, they didn't happen. Hey, listen, I wish I could agree with you. I wish I could agree with you. Let's just pretend yesterday didn't happen. I'm all good with that. Adam Elliott with a big crunching run there. They give it off. Here's a pass out to the right. Probably should have passed that ball instead, but sure. Fit tackle at the 45. Fit tackle at the 45 and Crossland. Then Jack Cogger. That's not a good kick at all, man. It goes straight to Connor Tracy, and then Connor Tracy's just going to bring this one straight back out to the 15. No pressure applied by a single Newcastle Knights player, and the kick was very average at best, man. So Jacob Kiraz, he'll get this ball to the 23, offloads it. Toby Sexton off to Connor Tracy. Good run. Good play here from the Dogs, and then they'll be taking out the 35. Bronx Tigers' worst officiated game? No, it wasn't. Like, there was bad officiating, sure, but the Tigers, if you're about to tell me that the Tigers deserve to win, you're wrong. Reid Marnie gives up 7 minutes. It's 6 again here for the Dogs. Okay, that's big. First tackle here at the 40. Not saying Tigers were robbed because Bronx had too much class before pass to... Yeah, sure, like I agree, but it's not as bad as people were making out. There's just a couple of bad calls throughout. Like the knock-on as well later on in the game. Alright, so 20 metres out here from the Knights line here for the Dogs. 7 minutes into the game. Reid Marnie gives it off to Jamin Salmon. Salmon out the back to Toby Sexton, then to Jacob Preston. And Preston at the 10. Knights defence didn't hold up well against the Titans. Let's see if they can hold up well here. 4 tackle. Out to Salmon. Salmon to Saluka Fafita. And they're 5 metres away. 5 metres away. Reid Marnie. Toby Sexton. Into the corner here. It's a one-on-one with Kiraz. Knock back. Knock on from the Knights. This is going to be Dogs ball here at the 10. Yeah, it's going to be knock on from the Knights. So it'll be Dogs ball here at the 10. Because that goes backwards from Kiraz. That's fine. No, yeah, it's a knock on from the Knights. It is a knock on from the Knights. So not a bad kick there from Tobes. Not a bad kick at all. Not a bad kick there at all. So, 8 minutes in now. And the Dogs will get a fresh set of 6, 10 metres away. So I'm just checking something here on the phone. Bulldogs, Connor Tracy out to Kiraz. Good defense from Newcastle, taking out the 7. Good defense. Do that. Oh, sorry. 1 sec. Big hit there, apparently. There we go. We did that. All right. Second tackle here for the Dogs. They're 13 metres out. The Bronx and Dogs have questions. Every team has questions. Even the Storm, who lost to the Dragons last week. Third tackle, 10 metres away from the line. 9 minutes in. He's lost the ball. He's lost the ball. Good defense, Knights. Good defense. How many years was Des contracted? 4 years. Do you have problems with Andrew Webster, considering his year last year out of Smart? I know that you are obsessively hate on Des Hasler, but did you have problems with Webster last year? In his second year? Especially considering Des put 66 past him. He's just lost that ball. Like, it's very easy. Like, I know that you sit here and try and shit on Des Hasler 24/7, bro. But, like, I'm happy to bite back and also tell you that you haven't beaten Des Hasler in 2 years. You haven't beaten Des Hasler in 2 years. So this is going to be an unsuccessful challenge here. They will lose the challenge. Wait, who's challenged this? Because didn't... Yeah, the Dogs have challenged this. He's just lost this ball. He's just lost the ball. Yeah. So the challenge is unsuccessful. I don't know why they challenged that. It didn't even look like it was stripped at all. The Gooses lost and Manly lost, and the mighty South Sydney Rabbitohs won equals a great win for this little black duck. Glory, glory, fair enough. So Knights ball here at the 10. They were able to stave off the onslaught. I just disagree with that 2 point steal. I really do. And it's a penalty to Newcastle. That happens so much after scrums nowadays. There's always offsides immediately after scrums. I think Saifiti's come out. I don't think Saifiti plays. Yeah, Jacob Saifiti is ruled out with his calf. That's a big loss there in the prop department. So they've got Leo Thompson there still. Obviously, they'll just have to push Croker or Hetherington immediately in. So I think maybe Hetherington will come in as effectively the starting front rower now. But that's a rough start here for Knights. And may have lost their winger, and then they also lost definitely their starting front rower. Comes the Knights now. Yeah, big loss, Saf. I agree. Because I leaned towards the Knights' way. Like, in regards to the prop department, I thought the Knights had the better props coming into this game. But that is a big loss now. Knights here, 20 metres out, 4 tackle. Adam Elliott. Crossland, he'll get it to Thompson. And they're 15 away. Oh, geez, some big bumps there. Jermaine McEwen. Is McEwen the one who's coming into the prop department? Kalen Ponga, short ball, short pass, Bradman Best! Throwing it back, but it goes back into him, and it's just going to be Bulldogs ball here at the 3. You can't say it's a knock-on. It would just be their ball at the 3. They will switch it over. Cat 2 for Schiller. Damn. Yeah, well, he won't be back then. Unfortunately, he will not be back. Unfortunately, he is Gonski. And that means he won't play next week. Who do the Knights play next week? Second tackle. I was starting to question, why is there 2 question marks in the chat? Now I understand. Kansas evening, lads. Hello, mate. Best push the pass, unneeded. Bradman Best didn't pass it. Like, he tried to pass it late. I knew we have Tigers. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, well, like, to be fair, you still should be thinking going into that game that you're going to win that game. It was last tackle, yeah. He didn't even really get to pass in the end. Good call, Skunkle. So Kalaponga gets the ball here at the 10. And then out to the 20 on first tackle. It is a grind. At the moment, it is a grind. Still waiting for someone to explode. Maybe this will be a lot lower of a score than you might have thought. And penalty for a high tackle. Penalty for high tackles. So Newcastle at the 35 will get a nice little carry penalty to get them into a good area. That is a high tackle. I don't know why people are booing. It is a high tackle. There's nothing wrong with the call. Nothing wrong with the call. All right, so nice ball here at the 45 on the attacking side of the field. Who's got the ball? Well, you just got to listen in, bro. Like, at the end of the day, you all hear kind of who's got it. So first tackle here at the 35 on the Bulldogs side of the field. Crossland gives it out to, who was that? I'm not sure who that was. Sam has the ball. Sam does have the ball. Only one, though. Only one. Only one Skunkle has. Knights at the 22, they've started to really take a bit of the momentum in this game since the Bulldogs couldn't score in that first set. That first attacking set. Now they're 10 metres away from the line. Crossland gives it out to Thompson. Thompson here to Cogger. And Cogger will get taken down here at the 20 on fit tackle. Hadahoni Whipperata says, I thought if you do a high one, you go for 10. It comes down to, drop out here. Drop out here from the Bulldogs to the Knights. Knights are pushing right now. The Knights are pushing. So it comes down to if it's moderate force, if it's high force, or if it's low, basically, right? So if it's low, which is what they classed there, they've classed that as a low impact high tackle, which is why it wasn't a bin. But you also have seen that be a bin over this weekend, so the inconsistency continues. The inconsistency will always continue. But Bradman Best will grab that from the short kickoff. And now it's Knights 10 metres away here from the line. 13 minutes in. 10 metres away. They give it to Crossland. Crossland gives it out to... Is that Elliott? Yeah, it is Adam Elliott. 3 metres away from the line. He's a big boy. He's definitely bigger than he used to be, Adam Elliott. And Leo Thompson! Jeez, 2 metres out. He would love to score against his new club next year. Crossland. Short pass. Good defence by the Dogs. It's a knock-on. Good defense by the Dogs, and it will be a knock-on, and Toby Sexton will be taken down to the 5-on-0 tackle. Hadoni says, come on, KP. Yeah, need to see KP get involved in the game. He did try before with the left-hand side attack. He did try to go down that left-hand side, just wasn't there, and, the Dogs are a good defense. Well, they've started to get back to their defensive ways. The opening couple of rounds, they weren't great defensively. Now they're starting to get back to their defensive ways against Cronulla, and you can see it in this game too. Jeez, there's so many it's definitely a Muppet time. Muppet hour. You know what? Matching music silence. So fourth tackle now for the Dogs off to Jamin Salmon, and he'll be at the halfway point. It's a lot of Muppet hour at the moment. And it always happens on this late stream. The later the day goes on as well on the Sundays as well. That Titan. Oh, Marty loses it. It goes backwards though. It's fine. Jeez, he's lucky it went backwards. It didn't come off a dog, so it is off backwards. I don't know why Kiraz is complaining. You know very well that wasn't a knock-on. Okay, Magic Music, bro. I'm going to let you know in the chat. Man, don't keep asking who the possession is. You should know your own players. So when you're hearing me say Leo Thompson, you should be aware that the Knights have the ball, bro. Because you said you're a diehard Knights fan, so you should be aware, able to kind of understand what's happening in the game based off of the way I'm commentating it. Knock on from the Knights. Because otherwise you're just going to spam asking possession, momentum, and who's got the ball, which is going to be, I'm not going to reply to. So yeah, it's a knock on here from the Knights, though, so it'll be Dogs ball. And James Schiller with the failed HIA. But at the end of the day, you did say you're a diehard Knights fan, so you should know who the players are on your team. And if you hear a player's name that isn't on your team, then that's with the ball in the other possession. Sam has possession. All right, so another knock on here from Newcastle, which means the Bulldogs get an attacking opportunity to 30. Maybe the longer this game is going on, it's opposite to that Manly Storm game, where that two-point penalty actually is coming in better. Manly went for it and got pumped by 40, but did the Knights just pick this bloke off the streets? Dear me. Bit of a weird start here. No one's really laid claim to the game yet, I would say. No one's laid claim at all to the game yet. Well, it's interesting that Klein is allowing the clock to continue, clock to be stopped for the scrum to be made by the Knights. Usually that would be penalised. That would normally be penalised for that taking too long. Max King on 6 again. So we first tackle here for the Dogs. 10 metres away here from the Knights line. Reed Marnie. We'll go to the right. Jamin Salmon. That hairstyle gets me every time. And Josh Curran. He is 5 metres away from the line. Still no tries in the first 16 minutes of the game. I thought it would be a higher scoring game than this. Maybe not. Reed Marnie. Short ball for Saluka for Fina. Oh, literally half a metre short. Oh, he's lost the ball. They call penalty. I don't know about that, Klein. I don't know about that. But it will be a penalty here to the Dogs. You surely don't go take the 2 here to make it a 4-pointer. You took the 2. Yeah, he just takes the quick tap, gives it off to Bailey Hayward, and now Maxi King. 5 metres away, first tackle. Very stop-start this game, very stop-start. And the Knights are down to 2 on the bench for the rest of the game because Saifidi went down and also... Oh, it's a good tackle. That's a phenomenal tackle there. Thomas Cant. Wow, he's taking him over the sideline. That is an impeccable tackle here. Thomas Cant comes on Bronson Cherry and just throws him over the sideline from 5 metres in. That is a really good defensive play. And then he gets into Cherry's ears as well. Look at him get into him. Jeez, that was yeah, Thomas Cant. No, Thomas can. Thomas definitely can after that. Wowee. That hyped me up, and I'm not even a Knights fan. So Greg Marty, the 15. That is such a beautiful tackle, dude. Especially on second as well. Like the Dogs just getting whacked over the sideline. It shows that the Knights are in the game, though. Like, they're well and truly underdogs, but they're definitely in this game. Third tackle off to Adam Elliott. And then Elliott's going to get to the 45. 4th tackle. Don't give away a penalty here, Dogs. It's kind of how the game's been going, though. And then Crossland 40-20. Oh, but it won't have the distance. And Connor Tracy brings it out here to the 30. Damn, I don't know how this game is going to go right now. Both defenses have stood quite strong. Brenton says we need some set plays. But that's going to be the issue for the Knights, right? Because their halves are all over the shop, you know, and you've gone through so many halves over the years, which is why they've gone so hard on Dylan Brown. For me, again, it's not a halfback, but they're going to have to probably put him there. But they've gone so hard because they want to have some slitting in the halves. You've had Cogger, you've had Fletcher Sharp, you've had Ponga in the halves at some stages, you've had Jackson Hastings, you've had, I think, 2 other players as well throughout the last couple of years. So it's going to be difficult to have those set plays developed by the halves when the halves are always changing. And fit tackle now at the 30. Because their best halves pairing at one point was probably when it was... 1 second, Ponga, good take. Really good catch there from Ponga at the 13. I'd probably say it was when Jackson Hastings was playing alongside Cogger, maybe? No, Tyson Gamble's the other one I missed out there. When Jackson Hastings and Gamble were going, that might have been at one point their best halves pairing. Even if it's a combo with Fletch Ponga at the back. Hey, hopefully, man. Knight's biggest issue is their spine. Because Crossland's not even there next year, is he? Is Crossland there, or did he sign somewhere? Or was it Tom Starling that signed for the Knights, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember. I think something's happened with the hooker. Wrote something there. See, Gamble will be back soon from injury, Brenton. But again, you're not going to have Jackson Hastings. So it's going to be either Jack Cogger or Fletcher Sharp, and more than likely Cogger. So that's another switch again. Or if they do decide to lose Jack Cogger and they go with Fletcher Sharp and Gamble, then that's switching the halves completely again where they haven't played with each other. Oh, Brayley's gone to the Raiders. I knew something happened with the Raiders. Yeah. Like, Crossland's fine. He can have his good games. He's a lot better than he used to be. At one point in his career, he was the worst player in the league, in my opinion. But he really improved over the last 2 years. It really improved. It's a weird signing by Canberra. Jaden Brayley to Canberra is such a weird signing. 20 minutes into the first half here, guys. 2-0 to the Dogs. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. 2-0 to the Dogs. And now Josh Curran is going to be at the 30 on fit tackle. I don't know either with the halves next year. Interesting, man. That's the biggest issue for the Knights. It's probably their only real issue. Good little kick there from Crichton, and it works out. Ends up being a dropout from the Knights. That was really heads-up play there from Stephen Crichton. Gary, this is pretty new to the NRL. I did watch the 3 State of Origin matches from last season. Incredible matches. As a Queenslander, last year didn't happen, but the previous 2 years definitely did. But the first game was okay. The second game wasn't great. The third game was a really good game, though. Even as a Queenslander, that was a really good game. All right, so they kick that for a short one. It's a good kick and in a good area. The ball gets knocked back. Oh, he's lost it. It's a knock on Dogs. No way. No way, Ashley Klein. You call that a knock-on every day of the week. That has always been called as a knock-on, especially when he's got the ball and then his body has come from behind the ball to in front of the ball, which means that he's dropping it that way and he's come over the top of it. I can't believe they've called that fine because we see that get called as a knock-on all the time. We see that, and they might score here. That's crazy if the Dogs score off the back of that. 4 tackle, they give it off to Jamin Salmon, 13 metres away. Out to Toby Sexton. Toby Sexton gives it off, quick flick on. And Kiraz still going, flicks it again to Toby Sexton. Toby, 5 metres away here from the line, fit tackle. 5 metres, fit tackle. Reed Marnie kicks it through. Ponga will knock that ball on. Ashley Klein, I guarantee you see that one, don't you? It says average Ashley Klein call. Well, it's an embarrassing call. We all are very, very well aware. Very, very well aware that, sorry, I'm getting notifications. We're very well aware that if your body is here and then the ball's coming, your body is here and then your body is there, and yet the ball comes through that way and it ends up after starting on this side and going to that side, that is a knock-on. And that's what's get called all the time. But he didn't call that. But anyway, it's going to be Dogs ball here at the 10. Dove said, it seemed the halves pairing last year never got a chance to get over time. That was a dropout, by the way. It's Dogs ball. Dogs ball at the 25. I thought it was a knock-on at the 1 metre, so I would have assumed the Dogs got the ball at the 10. I could be wrong on that one, though. Seemed the halves pairing last year never got a chance to gel over time. Too many changes. That is the problem with Newcastle, Dove. There's too many changes in the halves all the time. So second tackle, Jamin Salmon. If the Knights can hold him out here, like that's really impressive considering how much the Dogs have been putting on pressure in the last 5 minutes. Reed Murray to Toby Sexton. Toby Sexton out to Con Tracy. Tracy then to Crichton. And Crichton's going to get taken down to the 10. Great! That's a great team effort tackle there from Newcastle. Takes him back to the 13-4 tackle. Kiraz off to Toby Sexton. You need the halves to get working here. Toby takes the line on 5 metres out. Fit tackle. Reed Marnie off to Salmon. And they spread across. That actually worked. How have they not scored there? Wow. That's a penalty of the Dogs. Ashley Klein. What is he saying? Tackle in air? Maybe that might be the only reason why he doesn't score. Hold on. Let's have a look here. It's a correct call. It's a correct call. He does tackle him in the air. So it's a penalty of the Dogs. I was going to say, otherwise, how does he not score that? No, that is a correct call. Dane Gagai, the only reason he actually didn't score was because of that. You should actually arguably say, like, he scores there. But there is... So Dane Gagai goes on report. Okay, well, I don't... Okay, sure. Like, that means absolutely nothing, Ashley Klein, for putting Gaga on report for that. So first tackle here for the Dogs, 5 metres out. Reed Marnie gives it to Man to Sexton to Tracy. Tracy has this weird ball handling skills where it always looks like it's going to be a knock on, but he always catches it. It's weird. So second tackle here for the Dogs. They're 10 metres out from the line. Reed Marnie out to Kurt Mann. Kurt Mann gets it across to Hayward. Hayward taken down at the 4. Third tackle now. Reed Marnie off to Mann. And then okay run from Harry Hayes. Fourth tackle, 4 metres out. Dogs, you have to score here. How long can the Knights hold on? Bailey Hayward kicks it through. Knights ball. Knights ball. Well done, Newcastle. That's impressive. Take a bow, Newcastle. They get the ball and they get out of trouble. That is really impressive defence from Newcastle. The Dogs were putting the momentum on. They were powering through. Bang, 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 bang. And then can't end up scoring. They had 3 or 4 attacking sets there that they weren't able to score through. So, hey, that 2-0, I can put my hand up and say I was wrong for them for thinking they shouldn't take the 2. It has ended up being the right call here because this is a good game right now. It's a good game. Fifth tackle at the 45. Skidamini says Storm are second. So if the Dogs win, they go second. Broncos for and against, though. Are the Storm second? Because the Manly scored a couple late, maybe. Yeah, okay. You're lucky, Broncos. You're lucky. But if the Dogs win, they go second. Now, if the Dogs win, they go first, mate. The Dogs are on 8 points. The Dogs are on 8 points. They haven't lost a game yet. So, unfortunately, Dane Gagai goes for an intercept there, and it's a knock-on. So, be 6 more tackles for the Bulldogs at the halfway point. Hadahoni says game of the week. At the 30 on their own side of the field, the Dogs. Game of the week, very early to be calling that, but it has the potential. Eels Dragons was very good, though. Quality, not so much, but this has been good quality so far. Attack's not been unreal. He's lost the ball! He's lost the ball! It's Knights' ball at the 45. Newcastle just keep coming up clutch right now. Maybe this upset is... I'm telling you, maybe the upset could be on here. Maybe the upset could be on. Gagai would have caught that in Origin. Gagai would have caught that in Origin for sure. Oh, he's kind of taking a bit of a swipe at that ball. It's a loose carry, but he is taking a swipe at that ball there, Dane Gagai. Rays vs Sharks was game of the week. Rays vs Sharks was... I would say quality-wise was better than Eels and Dragons, sure. I would say the excitement would definitely, for the most part across the game, would be Eels Dragons for the comebacks and whatnot. But right now, I'm loving this game the most, but it's still a long way to go. It's still a long, long way to go in it. This is on target for it, but yes, that Sharks-Rays game had a lot more quality than the Eels Dragons one. So third tackle, 23 metres out here for the Knights. They're 23 metres out. Me too. Oh no, what has he said? Am I getting insulted here or is it something else? I'm at the gay. Fair enough, mate. You're at the gay? Sure. Oh, now he's at the game. Are you at the gay game? You're at the gay game. Oh, another knock on it for the Knights. So, a lot of mistakes coming into both these teams here. A lot of mistakes coming into both these teams. A Newcastle knock on will give the Dogs the ball at the 15 on their own side of the field. Blaze will be at the game soon. Yeah, I'm coming. Not the gay game, though. Not the gay game. I was like, whose house is he at? It's an interesting house. But knock on Dogs there, so they will get the ball at the 15. George says, watch it. I am watching it, mate. Fletcher's been quiet. Dad's got in his head. Dad's definitely got in his head. Hey, get the law enforcement. Get the law enforcement on Daz, mate. Get the law enforcement on Daz, mate. Second tackle for the Dogs at the 25. This is a really intense game at the moment, which, you would look towards the Dogs being able to win that, but no, the Knights have been known as that kind of team for many years now. They have been. Forward tackle, and you can clearly see that the difference in this game right now is that both teams don't have the halves that are... he's over the sideline! Unbelievable defense again from the Knights. What have they called? A penalty in Newcastle! Damn, so great defense. The Dogs lose the ball, the Knights get the ball, and then get a penalty. Penalty for a high tackle. Yeah, I do think Crichton got a bit overconfident there going down that right sideline. There was nowhere near enough space, and you're going up against Bradman Best, your partner in Origin. Like, he does go over the sideline before he loses that ball, by the way. So, oh, this might be a bin. This might be a high force bin. This may be a bin based off of how this weekend's gone. They're saying it's fine. What do you class as bins then? Because it is an intensity, it is a high force hit across the head. You know, so look, is it accidental? Sure, but what's a bin, referees? What is a bin? What is classed as a high contact hit? What is classed as a high force hit? That doesn't make any sense because he does come across with a lazy arm. And it does hit him across the chops. So yeah, sure, it's a penalty, but then so has every other bin this weekend. Oh, dude, the referees don't know they just don't know what to call. It's on the NRL. The NRL is so confusing in regards to their definition of what this is. I'm fine with the referees calling bins based off of the fact that this is what the NRL said, but at least get it consistent in regards to what you're calling as bins. High tackle, the ball carrier was almost on the floor. It is absolutely irrelevant in the rules of the game. It's irrelevant in the rules of the game. Have you watched this entire round so far? Because we've seen 7 sin bins this round so far for high contact. That would normally just be a penalty, but ended up getting called as a sin bin because of what the NRL's gone with. So I don't even know why you're arguing with that. So the Dogs now will get taken down here at the 25. Makes no sense why you're arguing that. Reid Marnie went and hit a guy high last week, literally on the floor, but he deliberately went in with the shoulder, and it wasn't even called a bin. And that's why they've changed the rules and fortified it this week, which we're still confused about because we don't know what they class as anymore. Skidder says, NRL's focusing on Rugby League Live 6 and not focusing on the actual. Well, they're focusing too much on their own litigation in the future and preventing themselves from getting sued, which I get, but it's ruining the game now because you're so confused about what the call is. Because you look at that, you would think, based off of what we've seen, that would be a bin, but then they don't call it and they just say it's a penalty, and you're just like, well, okay, well, this makes no sense. Dogs with the good offload, third tackle, they get off to Kiraz. Kiraz, taken down here at the 35. He dummied to a pass to nobody. So 10 minutes to go here of the first half. Hit that like button, subscribe. Still 2-0 to the Dogs. The penalty did work out being the right call. The 2 points did turn out to be the right call. Toby Sexton. He's going to put that ball across in a good area. Not a bad kick at all. Dropped there. Bradman Best is away. He's at the 10. He's at the 20. He gets the ball offloaded. Oh, no way, dude. That is so stupid there from Bradman Best, dude. Oh, yeah, they'll say no advantage, yeah. They will say no advantage, so it's going to be Knights ball here at the 10. I only had one area to play with. I get where Ashley Klein's coming from. I understand Bulldogs fans will be frustrated with that. I get where Ashley Klein's coming from because they do only have that individual area, and he's the one who picks up the ball. Crichton pushed Old Mate off the ball as well. I didn't even notice that. It's a shoulder to shoulder in that regard. I know where you're coming from, but I would say that's fine. And that's the problem with the NRL, is there's too much opinion involved. That's my opinion, that would have been fine. Some people like yourself would have said that wasn't acceptable. That's the problem with the NRL as well. How is that no advantage? He went about 30 metres. So what he's arguing is that basically there's only been that one area of the field that would have been utilised. So it's very limited in regards to the advantage. And then it's been that one player that has had the ball and then pass it, and then the mistake came from that. I get where you're coming from. I get where he's coming from. That's pretty 50-50 for me. That's pretty 50-50. And 6 again. That's 6 again, unfortunately, on 4 tackles. So the Knights will have a 6 again at the 42, and Tyson Frizzell brings it to the halfway point. Considering being down only 2 on the bench for pretty much the entirety of literally the entirety of the game here, Knights, it'll be an even more impressive win if they can, topple the undefeated Bulldogs. Kalen Ponga, short ball, knock on, dude. This game would be brilliant if we would see so many less knock-ons, and it's coming down to the spine plays for both teams. The spine players are unfortunately the ones that are costing this from being a really quality kind of performance across both sides. Jack Cogger there, I'm sorry, but it was Kalen Ponga actually who passes it across. It wasn't Jack Cogger, my bad. Still spine. How can I share my multi? You hit a good multi. You hit a good multi. What did you have? What did you have? If you're talking about donating, bro, there's like a money symbol on the chat there. Crichton's injured here. Touch wood and God bless. I hope he's all right. But he's still down, Crichton. That's a big loss if he goes down injured for a bit. First side to settle will win this game. Yeah, I would say both sides haven't settled in regards to the offense. So Crichton is coming out. Wow, they're not bringing out the stretcher, are they? This is Stephen Crichton we're talking about. This is Stephen Crichton. To be fair, though, the Dogs have also got players out in William Kikau and Matt Burton and whatnot. But still, it'd be big for the Knights to be able to find a way to bounce back despite their losses during the game. But this is a big loss here for the Dogs during the game. Race to... Oh, no, you've put an S at the end of it. You've put an S at the end of it, man. Unfortunately, you got to get timed out for that one, man. And Storm to win. So there's only one S in Storm, man. You did it 3 times. You did it 3 times. So Crichton's getting up here without using the stretcher, but he will come off the field, you would assume. Well, there's no way he's going to continue here. I don't know what... He has to come off to be evaluated for sure. Are they going to leave him out there? Wow, he's actually going to continue on. Well, you got to target him. If you're a Knights player, when you get the ball, you've got to target him, dude. You've 100% got to target him. This is great captaincy there from Stephen Crichton, though. That's real good captaincy. All right, so Bulldogs here at the 30. Now be first tackle. 35. It sounds like a harsh thing to say, but it's a professional game. Like at the end of the day, if Crichton's deciding to stay out there, he's admitting that he's okay. So you, as a Knights player, you've got to acknowledge that and say, well, I'm going to target you just to see if you are okay. You know, that's the way to try and win the game. You got to target him to see if he is actually okay, because he has done a big thing by staying out there, and they're going to get the ball to him. No, Connor Tracy goes to the 35. Good run from Connor Tracy, though. Good run. Reed Marnie off to Toby Sexton. Sexton out to Man then to Hayward. And then Jacob Preston, he's going to be taken down at the 25, fifth tackle. Jeez, what a defensive first half, though. Like, real, if you're a defensive-minded, fan of the game, then you'd be loving this first half. It's just unfortunate with all the knock-ons. And that will go over the sideline. I don't think anyone touches it. Oh, touched by the Knights. Oh, so it's going to be Dogs ball at the 10. They're going to say it was touched. I didn't think anyone touched that. Do I play COD? Bro, I'm in India. How do you think I'm playing COD? Oh, maybe not. No, they're going to change it. Oh, Knights challenging. The Knights are challenging. Well, Greg, you better hope you haven't touched this, man. Yeah, better hope he hasn't touched this. Bro, he's also an adult. Fair, I haven't played COD in a long time, man. And, yeah, I don't think Greg touches that. Yeah, it's a good challenge. Greg Martiu doesn't touch that ball. And Kiraz is the one who touches it first anyway, even if it was. They're both going for it. Yep, so knock on Dogs. Knights ball, good challenge. Challenge successful here. Challenge successful. Give me 1 second here, guys. 1 second. All right. So Knights ball, second tackle. Are we back on? Yeah, I'm muted. Beautiful. So Knights ball now. I am loving this game though. Third tackle here at the 30. It's a risky challenge there, but it ended up being worth it. And it would have just been awful on Greg Martiu. Good run there by Leo Thompson. It would have been an awful call by Greg Martiu if he had have actually touched that in the end and wasted that challenge. But he knew he didn't touch it. But there we go. Cogger now puts this ball down deep where it's going to be Connor Tracy who grabs this ball at the 3, tries to go out to the right, and then will offload it. Marcelo Montoya. Haven't seen much of Montoya so far. Just hold the ball now, Newey. Yeah, got to complete some sets. I reckon we'll go into the halftime stats and we'll see a lot of incomplete sets from both teams. Specifically more Knights, though. An offload there from the Bulldogs. That gets them some extra meters. They get it kind of Tracy, passes it out to Bronson Terry. They try and target this left-hand side. It's around the chest. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a high tackle. It was around the chest, that. Second tackle now for the Dogs. Bailey Hayward off to Harry Hayes. Not impressed by Harry Hayes' runs in this game so far. The first 35 minutes has not been exactly the most impressive of dominating runs from the Big Bopper. Toby Sexton steps inside. I've actually liked Toby's game today. And his kicking game has been in really good areas. Kurt Mann! Oh, he's trying to get away. He's so close. And he does. That's a knock-on from Newcastle. So they're going to say this is Bulldogs ball here. I don't like what Thompson's done there. I don't like that he's just slapped at the ball there because that was fifth tackle otherwise. Or fourth and he gets the offload away. But the Knights have, you got to trust in your defense there, man. He's trying to offload the ball out the back here. And then Thompson's just going to slap the ball. That makes no sense why he would do that in my opinion. It's the right call. Daniel Bates says, seems to be a fair few low gravity looking wingers around, similar to Matt Utai, this Newcastle guy, Toto, etc. This Newcastle guy? Who are you referring to? Newcastle. Greg Martiu? Are you talking about Greg Martiu? Who are you talking about? Yeah, brain fart, Negan. You're going to get those out of props. Oh, good rush defense. Oh, the Knights couldn't get the ball, though, if the Bulldogs dropped it, but it goes backwards. And now Kiraz will get this ball to the 22. Knights are about to do some real high-intensity defending inside their own 20. They haven't conceded a try yet, but surely at some point it breaks. Martiu. Martiu's a big boy. Martiu's a big bopper. So they give this ball left-hand side. Bronson Terry taken down. Gets back up. And 4 metres out from the line. Third tackle of the Dogs. It'd be a huge try if they score right before half-time. If this would be a game-changing, nearly game-deciding try if they could score before half-time, considering how this first half has gone. 10 metres out now from the line. 5 metres. Okay, we don't care about Cod, bro. Let's move on from Cod. Fair tackle off to Toby Sexton. Toby Sexton out the back to Crichton. Good defense from the Knights. Oh! He's knocked it on. It's a knock on there from Stephen Crichton, so it will be Knights ball at 10. Their defense has really come up clutch, man. Their defense has been really solid today. Really solid. Tedious has been an interesting game, that's for sure. Absolutely, man. You know, you can't take your eyes off it. You can't take your eyes off it. There's no way he thought that was going to be allowed if he just put the ball down there. He had to completely regather that before they would call that. Nice one, Crichton. What a fantastic pass. Fantastic pass. If anyone can score anything before halftime, it is so crucial, dude. There's 2 minutes and 50 to go. Tackling opposition half, 43 for the Dogs, 24 for the Knights. The Knights have been more so down on their end of the field, whilst the Dogs have been definitely more so in the attacking area. But it's 23-8 in regards to tackle opposition 20. That's a decent amount. It's a couple of sets worth. Take the one you catch. Third tackle here at the 38. Well, you'd only be down by 1 point if you did. You'd only be down by 1 if the Knights did. Jack Hetherington is not a forward pass. 47 metres, yeah, I know everyone called for it, but yeah, Daz would be sweating bullets at the moment at the game. Oh, that's a high tackle. No, apparently not. On live viewing, it looked like it, but I must be wrong. Kalen Ponga. And the chase through. Tracy gets it. No intensity from the Knights. No one's trying to get the ball. I'm sorry, but this is a big reason as to why the Knights aren't getting any kind of momentum as well. It's because, yeah, sure, their defense is gaining them some form of momentum, but they're not able to capitalize when they're kicking the ball down deep and then they're not even trying to attempt to grab the ball. They're letting Connor Tracy have easy grabs in the middle of the air. They're letting Connor Tracy demand the airspace of this game at the moment because not a single Knights player is attempting to challenge, and they're just trying to utilize the line where they're going up in one line. But it's like, well, you had the opportunity to challenge for the ball there, and you've had a couple of opportunities. They just haven't done it. This is 4th tackle now. Toby Sexton flicks the ball all the way across. Be careful with that. That wasn't the play there from Toby Sexton. Curran now. He'll get that ball off to... that was unfortunately on Tobes, this one. It was unfortunately on Tobes. That was bad play. And now it's going to be Hayward with a minute to go here. If the Knights can find a way with this last set to do something, it would be Monumental. Ponga steps out to the right side. He goes again to the right, and he'll get taken out to 10. Good defense there from the Dogs to prevent the breakaway. 55 seconds left the first half. Gagai back into the play. Gets away from a couple of tacklers. Then at the 20. Bit far out for a field goal right now. They're 20 metres out from their own line, the Knights. If they could get an 80-metre field goal, that should be worth 10 points at minimum. Or a point per 10 metres. Hey, there you go. There's an interesting new rule change. The NRL loves a good rule change. 4 tackle at 35. Depending on how many 10 metres at 10-metre increments, you kick it from inside the 10, it's 1 point. Outside the 20, 2 points. 3 points for 30. Ponga tries to step back on the inside. 5th tackle at 20. With 20 seconds left, at the 40. Nothing's happening here. Now Crossland. And it's going to be Cogger who kicks this ball down to the 20. This should be the halftime score. So that 2-point penalty does work out to be the treat. That 2-point penalty absolutely works out to be very, very good. So halftime, 2-0 to the Dogs. What a defensive first half. What a fantastic defensive first half. Where it's all up in the air as we speak. It is all completely up in the air. The Knights absolutely could still win this game, and the Dogs could definitely hold on to win this game, but there's not a single try scored in the entirety of the first half here. Let's go through some of these team stats at halftime. That will update, but I will tell you what I'm seeing. Obviously, guys, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're live for pretty much every game over here. But this is a telling sign right now. 63% possession to the Dogs, 37% to the Knights. You can see this in 2 different categories. If you look at that and say, well, 63% to the Bulldogs means the Knights are probably going to be tired because they've had to do a lot more tackling with a lot less ball. You can look at it in that regards and say the Bulldogs may pull away in the second half. Or you can say, well, the Knights haven't had any ball, and yet they've actually defended so well that they've kept the Dogs to a 2-point game and haven't let the Dogs score. So despite having 37% of the ball, you're not usually going to see too many tries with that. But also, if you're limiting the tries, well, then the Knights, if they get a bit more ball in the second half, then they can go on with this game. So you can look at those possession stats in 2 different ways. And I don't think you'd be wrong to think either way. It just comes down to, are the Knights tired? If the Knights aren't tired, if they can get some ball and actually complete some sets, they actually go on to win this game. Like, the Knights will go on to win this game if they're not tired from that 63%, domination from the Dogs and can go on with it in the second half. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they both come out. Time in possession is madness. 18 minutes and 38 seconds for the Dogs, 10 minutes and 38 seconds for the Knights. That is a very, very significant amount of minutes difference. That's very significant. Completion rate is 80% for the Dogs, so 20 from 25, whilst the Knights have had 13 from 18 at 72%. So they have had 7 complete sets less than them. 7, obviously, incomplete sets as well. The runs so far, 106 runs to the Dogs, 74 runs for the Knights. 880 run meters to 510. That does reflect the amount of possession that the Dogs have had, with a 348 post contact to 190 for the Knights. Not being absolutely destructive, like the 370 odd meters, 360 odd meters, that is pretty significant. But I don't think the post contact is that wild against the Knights there through. It's actually 30 more runs now for the Dogs at 106. Tackle breaks. The Knights have had 15 tackle breaks to 11. So the Dogs' defense hasn't been seen yet, realistically. Like, we haven't actually had to see the Dogs' defense because they've been utilising the offense is the best form of defense. If you have the ball, you're not going to concede for the majority, unless you throw an intercept. So, at the moment, the Knights haven't tested them at all, which is a concern, but also, even if they do test them with it, are you guaranteeing it with their halves? It's a good question. Now, the average set distance, the Dogs are at 35.24, which is on the low end of the basic average. That's a low end. 35 to 40, low end of the basic average. The Knights are at 31.24, so when they have the ball, they're not doing good with the meters there by any stretch of the imagination. Average play the ball speed, 3.5 seconds, 7 seconds for the Dogs, 3.35 for the Knights, so at least they're faster in that category. 8 offloads to 2 for the Bulldogs. There has been 100% kick defusal for the Dogs, 78% for the Knights. Kicking meters has actually been 273, 276. It's very similar there between the two. And then in regards to the defensive effective tackle percentage, so this is a hard one to kind of say, because you look at the Dogs and it's 90.82% with 188 tackles made for 18 missed. But then the Knights have a worst a worse effective tackle percentage with 88.33%. They've got 213 tackles made for 12 missed, but the 17 ineffective tackles is what's hurting them because the Dogs only have 1. So in regards to tackles made to missed tackles, the Knights are actually far and above kind of where the Dogs are at here. But it's just those ineffective tackles that have been costing them drastically. Otherwise, they'd be around the 92% because the Knights have been defending very well in this game. So don't let that kind of take away. 88 is a very basic average. 90 is very solid. But 18 missed tackles, you don't like to see. It's just they're ineffective that's helping them out. Errors-wise, 9 for the Knights, 7 for the Dogs. Penalties conceded 3 apiece. Ruck infringements 2-1 Knights way and on report Knights. Again, the Knights have 2 players who aren't going to be back in this game in James Schiller and Daniel Saifidi. Big one there in Saifidi through the middle. So they're really going to have to fire up there in this second half and get some good meters because they got absolutely smacked on the meters. Absolutely smacked on the meters early in this game. But yeah, like I said, looking at the possession, you can look at it in 2 ways. The Dogs have either forced the Knights to be super tired and they run over the top, or the Knights have kept it so close despite having no ball that they can run over the top of them if they equal out that possession a lot more. So there's 2 ways to think about it. Darryl Weller says, trying to think of a trialist first half has there been one before this game so far? No, not in this season. Not this season, no. Defensive effort is going to show in the second. If the Dogs keep on attacking, they'll break the game open. Yes, agreed. If the Dogs do continue to have this kind of possession, they will win this game and they'll win this game 13+. But if the Knights can maintain a bit of possession and equal it out at 50%, I do believe they'll be able to score and win this game. So it comes down to if the Dogs can hold on to the ball and keep dominating with possession, they will win by a canter. But the Knights have defended so well, but it's similar to the Manly Raiders game where the Raiders defended so well for 21 try, just broke their hearts and they ended up getting beaten by 40. That could happen here with the Dogs against the Knights, but I've liked Toby Sexton as their halfback. I really have in this game. Not that it's amounted to anything, but he's put some good balls in some good areas. A couple of mistakes late on in the first half wasn't great to see from him, but overall, you're looking at this Knights team and this Dogs team and saying their attack isn't that fantastic. Because I'm sorry, the Dogs have had an ample amount of opportunity to score. And the Knights had 26 put past them by the Titans 2 weeks ago, who just got whooped by an 0-4 Dolphins team. So this Knights team is a lot better than what they looked like against the Titans, but also they are a worry attacking wise, which is why even if they have the possession, I don't guarantee that they score. It's tough to actually get a read about how the second half will go because it completely comes down to if the Knights are tied or not for me. Daniel says mistakes will definitely come second half. No way can the players concentrate properly for 80 minutes this speed. Yeah, it's like Origin Game 3 last year with Queensland. Evan Six says, I'd be happy only being down by 2, to be honest. Oh, if you're a Knights fan, you should be ecstatic at this. This is an ecstatic scoreline for Knights fans. They should be thrilled with this scoreline because they had absolutely jack shit ball. They had no ball, and they were only down by 2-0. Ponga is the only Queensland fullback. He will get picked. Walsh isn't a pick, and I don't know who else would be a fullback. Yeah, you would absolutely go Ponga over Reece Walsh right now, but Reece Walsh would be second man up, 100%. Isaac Portelli says, what happened if they don't score a try? What? Skidamedi says, or Jaden Campbell could be a pick if he's eligible to play for Queensland. Well, he's a halfback now. He's on a fullback. They've moved him from a fullback. What's wrong with Walshy? When is his get right game? You would have expected it to come right now, but it hasn't yet. I just think he's overthinking things. And it's like they're in the best chance for him to get his get right game because he's currently playing for a team that is currently top of the table. Well, actually, no, because the Dogs are winning this game, so the live ladder would have the Dogs above the Broncos. But the Broncos are in second. So if he's not having his get-right game when they're being successful and they're winning games, it makes you wonder if he's going to have a get-right game. But he will. But if he can't get it flowing when they're winning, how are you going to get it flowing when the rest of the team is losing? That's my question. Lennox says, have you seen Major Pain? What? The Radler, I don't know what that is. Negan says 7 p.m. is too early for bedtime. Trust me, Muppet Hour usually it starts around now, but it kicked off early today. James Speed says 18-14 the Dogs. I don't know if there's 32 points in this game. Like 32 points is a decent amount considering that we've only seen 2 in the first half. No, it goes to the Bears. No, big fan of the New Zealand Orcas, South Island. New Zealand Orcas in the South Island. Big fan, mate. Big, massive fan. Big, massive fan here. Jump on. If Fletch gets more involved, we might have points in us. But like the thing is, how can Fletch get more involved if you don't have the ball? It's not Fletcher's fault that you don't have the ball. It's not Fletcher Sharp's fault that you don't have the ball. So the halves are only going to be able to do anything if you have the ball. And Fletcher can't do anything, and neither can Cogger because they don't have the ball. And I don't really rate Cogger a great deal. Don't get me wrong. Fletcher Sharp does need to be in the team, but like it's difficult to really kind of criticise the halves of the Knights right now because it's not their fault that they've had such a limited possession of the ball. We are the champions, my friends. Daz, I would be concerned if you, Daz. If I was you, I'd be worrying. I don't think I would be worrying right now. I would be very much worrying. But when we do have the ball, he hasn't done much. I'm saying, yeah, but what have your forwards done? So your halves, your 5'8" and your halfback, you're looking towards being able to put attacking plays in, setting them up nicely to get them into good positions to go up the field. But the forwards are the ones who are meant to lead you up the field so that your back line, which is your halves, your 6 and your 7, your 1 and whatnot, can then try and get that, try and score in the attacking 20. So your forwards do all the business from here to here. Yes, your halves and your hooker passes in the ball, but you don't really focus on them being able to do anything until they're in the attacking 20. Sure, you'd love a 40-20 from Cogger or you'd love a 40-20 from Fletcher Sharp, but not everyone can do that, and it doesn't happen that frequent anyway, and teams are back and waiting for it, and Kyle Tracy would be there waiting for it. You did see, I think, Fletcher Sharp or Cogger, one of the two, go for 40-20, and Kyle Tracy was just there, so you know, you don't really look too heavily at those halves being the problem until they're in the attacking 20 and they don't do anything. You know, for example, the Titans yesterday, we did get to the attacking 20 quite a bit, but Jaden Campbell and AJ Brimson unfortunately could not get us over the line. So that is a negative slide against them, and you are able to validly criticise the performance of the attacking halves yesterday from Campbell and both AJ Brimson. The Knights have not been in the attacking 20 more than like 12 times, 12, 13 tackles. So it's very difficult to criticise what they've been doing when they're not even in that area because the Dogs have the ball in the opposite area the entirety of the game. Jason, do you use bottled water in the kettle? Sorry for a random question. Yeah. I'm actually going to go put that bottled water up, actually. I'm going to go so that I can make a coffee or something. But this game is a really enjoyable game. It really gets your mind thinking. So I'm enjoying this one. But give me 2 seconds here, guys. I'm going to go put the kettle on. And then I'll be back in just a few moments. It's still half time anyway. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you've got any questions, shoot them through. All right, we're back. I do like to have a bit of a stretch at half time as well, especially when you're like commentating and streaming. You kind of have to sit down the entire time, whilst everyone else can just like get up and walk and go to the fridge or do stuff. So at half time, I do like to get up and stretch the legs a bit. But yeah, I definitely use bottled water in the kettle in India, man. I'm not gonna. I even though I know that by boiling the water, it does make it. I think it makes it okay to drink. I'm pretty certain it makes it okay to drink, but I just don't even trust it. Is it okay to drink India tap water if boiled? I wouldn't trust it. I just wouldn't risk it. I have the money. It's safe. Yeah, so like in the majority of cases, and that's the thing. I don't want to be the individual case where it's not. So it says boiling water before drinking in India makes it safe in the majority of cases because obviously boiling water kills all the bacteria present in the water, and the bacterial contamination of the water is the most common problem in India. So yeah, look, I don't want to be one of the individual cases that can still, get cholera and get really, really sick from that. But it is a bit pedantic, but you do have to be pedantic in this country. You do. Would like it if Dogs win this game. Would help my tips. Well, I tipped the Bulldogs, but I did say I think the Knights have a really good chance of winning this game. But I did still tip the Dogs. Same as brushing your teeth. Some people get lazy and use a tap water every now and then. Yeah, because you forget. So I haven't. Oh, sorry. So I did in Delhi. When I was in Delhi, I immediately. You don't even think about it, dude, because obviously back home you can just put the tap water. But you don't even think about it. So, yeah, it's very easy. I can understand how people forget because I forgot and put it under the tap water and then realised when I put it under the tap water. So I didn't brush my teeth with it and then I washed it and all that kind of stuff with the clean water. But, yeah, it's very quick to forget about that. What flavour snake are you picking out of the lolly bag? The orange and red one. The orange one specifically, but I like the red ones too. I'm not a massive fan of the green ones, but I don't mind them. The purple ones I'm not a huge fan of. Do you need to put any kettle on in India? What? Do you need to put any kettle on in India? What do you mean? Oh, are you trying to say because it's so hot outside? Well, I'm in aircon right now, man, so... But if you're... I think you're making a joke, maybe at the heat or something. But alright, the game is kicking off here for the second half. The Knights kicking off the Bulldogs. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Yeah, the local drink tap water, Justin, but that's because they've grown up with it, right? So they don't actually... So when I was out with a friend in Delhi, she was saying basically that they can drink tap water or the bottled water and not taste the difference. Or they can taste the difference, but it's not like... It won't impact them. There's no difference for them. So third tackle now at 35. Orange sus. What? Orange is awesome. Orange is awesome. What are you talking about? Reid Marnie kicks that ball down to the corner for a 40-20 attempt. But Callum Ponga grabs this ball at the 20. And then that was on third tackle too. But he'll get this ball up to the 25. Can you speak Indian? Firstly, it's Hindi. And secondly, there is 300 or so languages in this country. So Hindi is only the northern parts like Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. But the more south you go, you've got Urdu, you've got Tamil, you've got Tamil. Oh, the Knights will offload the ball into the Dogs at the 30. All right, let's get back focused on the game a bit more. So first tackle here for the Dogs at the 30. And now the Dogs will be at the 20, second tackle. But India's not the only country like that. Like Fiji has a basic Fijian language, but then there's all kinds of different languages for different villages that are based off of the same but different. So third tackle here for the Dogs at the 10. They've started off the second half with the ball basically again in the dominating areas. Why has my game slowed down? Okay, no, it's fine now. Reid Marnie gives it out. They're 15 metres away. They haven't been able to score despite having a bucket load of ball down in this area. The Dogs at the 6. If the Dogs score here, it would tell me a lot about where the Knights are at after half-time. After that first half, they would be tied. So fifth tackle, 3 out, but that's a good hit there from Jack Etherington. Arguably, you could have called 6 again there, but Klein, bit of a cat. Good kick there from Toby Sexton. That's a knock-on. No, that'll be a knock-on here from the Dogs. They're going to go up and check the bunker here, but there's no way you're going to be able to call this as a try. There's no way you're going to be able to call this as a try. So they're going to check this. I love how the commentary didn't even acknowledge that this is probably a no try. So they're going to say this was knocked back from up top. I would have debate about that. I would call that a knock-on. Because it's bounced off of his head into his arm, and I would say that this then gets a knock-on. Up the top, not even from Preston. Because it bounces off his head backwards and then into the arm. Where does the ball bounce, actually? Maybe, no, it does go backwards, maybe. Yeah, it's backwards. That's actually going to be a try. This is actually going to be a try. That's very unlucky there for the Knights. That is very unlucky. But it will be a try because Josh Curran does grab that. That should be... The ground will be interesting, actually. Oof. Bulldogs fans will complain if it's not. Oh, dude, this is going to be a tough call here, considering it was called a no try. I don't know. Yeah, they might call this a knock-on still, man. This is close. I don't know if he has control. I don't know, man. Yeah. Oh, it will be a try. So, so the fans are booing, but I think they've called this as a try. They've called try. I don't know what, that was really confusing because the Bulldogs fans are all booed, but also that's a really controversial call to say that he has completely regripped that against the call of the referee. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it, but all the Bulldogs fans thought that was going to be called a no try, but they said he grips it and then transfers it to his... That's a really intriguing call. Mary says can put the game on. Mary, get a job. Like at the end of the day, you know this is an illegal. It would be illegal to show you the game. So I don't even know why you would ask that. So 6-0 here with 37 minutes to go. The explanation is confusing, Negan, because the explanation makes me think that he's saying it's a knock on. The explanation is saying that he's got it with the right hand and then transferred it to the left hand, which has progressed it to the try. Which would ultimately... So he's saying he's gripped it. But everyone's confused at the moment. That's a really... I don't really know how to kind of feel about that. Especially considering the original call was no try. But they have called it a try. The commentary is confused as well, kind of right now. Anyway, it's a try here for the Dogs. They're up 6-0 with a kick to come. It's debatable. If you're a Knights fan, you look on the negative side of that. If you're a Dogs fan, you look on the positive side of that. And if you're a fan of as a neutral fan, you're confused about everything that was involved in that. And Crichton will get the kick. So it will be 8-0 here to the Dogs with 36 minutes of the game. 8-0 here to the Dogs with 36 minutes to go here of the game. And it was just really confusing overall. It was a really confusing that. Alright, so do that. There we go. The explanation is confusing. I'm more annoyed by losing the ball on the first set than that. I would agree, Yellow Warrior. Yeah, I would 100% agree. Losing the ball in the first set, it definitely is on the Knights. The Dogs have scored there. That's just how it is. The confusing nature is surrounding the way that he's adjudicated the call, but the Knights knocking the ball on was the problem of that set for sure. Goodbye, I'm a Knights fan since I was 13 years old. I'm 11 months younger than Andrew Johns. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, then you are also old enough to be aware that broadcasting restrictions are a thing and that you are currently looking for an illegal stream right now. And obviously, I can't show you the illegal broadcast of the game. So, if you are 11 months younger than Andrew Johns, then you should be very well aware of that. So, 4th tackle here. Because Andrew Johns isn't exactly a young stallion anymore. Not exactly a young stallion anymore. Once was. But alright, Greg Marty now will grab that ball and bring it back to the 30. He's down at the 30. They try to take him over the sideline. That's a penalty. Damn, you can't hold on to him after that. That was interesting that they weren't able to call that. Second tackle now at the 35. Damn, I'm starting to get hungry now. Kalen Ponga off to Dane Gagai, who gets his ball outside the 40. It's not game over yet, but the Knights will need to be the next team to score. If the Bulldogs score next to try, whether it's converted or not, even 12 points will be a bit tough for him to come back from in this kind of style of game. But it does come down to the fact the Knights dropped that ball and gave the opportunity right to them. So 5th tackle here at the 40. And it was a decent run there from Crossland right up the centre. Kalen Ponga decides to put that boot to air. Oh, not quick enough. Again, I've got to make... the biggest problem for me with the Knights today is coming from their care factor. I'm sorry, but you need to try and take an attempt at catching the ball. Make a play at the ball. Put some pressure on, because the Dogs are putting pressure on. If you are the Knights... why you are allowing the Dogs to just have all free reign, and that's a penalty to the Dogs. I'm sorry, Knights, you are going to throw this game away now, because the thing that's pissed me off most about Newcastle here is you cannot tell me that they have any enthusiasm whatsoever to try and get the ball back themselves. The Dogs could blow this game away from here. The Knights show absolutely zero enthusiasm, and I don't want to hear any complaints. That's a trip, by the way. That should be a bin. That should be a bin against Crossland. That should be a bin against Crossland. He's put his leg out to trip him. And he has. He's gone to the bin. So Crossland goes to the bin here. You have not even from the start of the game have the Knights shown, and you can't tell me it's because they're tired. The start of the game to right now has the entire time just been them not giving a shit about chasing the ball. So it's like people can blame Cogran and blame Fletcher Sharp, but at the end of the day, the blame should also come towards the players in the team that are not even attempting to make a play at the ball from the kick. Eat the chili noodles. I don't know if I can eat it right now. This game is quite intense at the moment. The Bulldogs, if they score here, like the Knights, they're done. Out of the right, Reed Marnie, short play, try time, Knights, you're gone. And Knights, you deserve to lose this. I'm sorry, but you deserve it. You've shown absolutely no enthusiasm. The first half, you were fantastic defensively, but not at a single point of this game so far have you shown the enthusiasm to even try and get the ball back. You have had no ball throughout this game, and you are the reason why you have had no ball in this game. Because that's a great try there from Jack Todd running straight through the middle. The Dogs should probably blow this away now. And like I said, it's not because the Knights are tired. Because the Knights at the start of the game never cared about getting to the ball either. They never cared about getting to the ball either. He deserves 20 in the bin for that. Yeah, it's a blatant trip there from Crossland. The Knights are self-sabotaging now, but the Bulldogs, considering their intensity, are just going to run through them. And if they keep up this intensity here, the Dogs, they could win this game 30-40 plus. Like, they could absolutely pump them in this last 33 minutes because, one, now the Knights are tired because of that first half. And also, two, the Dogs have a lot more quality than the Knights to be able to absolutely punch it through here. You had high hopes for the Knights after the first half, but I said you could look at that possession in two ways. If the Dogs come with the same intensity and keep the ball, they win the game, and they win the game by a canter. And that's what's happening here. But there was also the second side of that the Knights didn't have much ball, only kept it at 2. So they could have gone on with the game, and they could have done it, but they've shown no care factor to win the game. They've shown no care factor to actually take the game out of the Bulldogs' grasp and chase for any kind of ball. Negan says Knights are a joke. Was only down by 2 at halftime. Well, it's not even that though. Like, you can make the argument that they are tired, and that's justified. Like, you can make the argument there, but about the specificities of them actually trying to get ball when they don't have ball is the problem here. Because there's always going to be the teams, like the Titans, who argue that going in the line and going up in the line and not having someone break through to go for the ball, because then if they catch the ball, they can break through the line from that one play that comes out. Yeah, sure, you can argue that. But you can do that. Like, you can do that, and that's fine. But then, if you don't get any ball and you have no ball, how are you ever going to get the ball back in a good position unless your kicker has a miracle kicking game that is able to get multiple 40-20s and force them down inside their own in goal, where your team, again, has to have the enthusiasm to get up and put them in? There's not been any pressure on Connor Tracy or Jacob Kiraz or anyone out the back to actually try and get this ball back for the Knights. And the Bulldogs absolutely will put them to bed here. They will put them to bed unless the Knights wake up and actually give a shit about trying to get some ball back to themselves. Sunday says, just put the game on now and it's going to be a blowout. Was looking for sword to a close game. It would have been close if it would have been close, and it was close. But now the Dogs are just going to have a bit too much quality here. I was putting the Dogs race of 10. Finally got there. They did get there. Alright, so it's going to be knock on Dogs. Oh, maybe not. They're going to say this is backwards from the Dogs and they're going to score. Knights, I'm sorry, you've earned this. You've earned this. The Dogs definitely deserve this right now, and the Knights have earned this from their lack of care factor. It's 18-0 with the kid to come. Brenton says they didn't put pressure on last year either on kick chasers. So that's the problem, because that means that this is an issue with Adam O'Brien. Adam O'Brien should be telling them, hey, listen, I'm very well aware that we're going up in a line, but look at the pressure the Dogs put on here. See, every single time you see the Dogs winger, whether that be Kiraz or you go to the other side as well, regardless, like Kiraz goes up for that one, like I think that goes backwards, that's fine. But the point of the matter is that even if it did go forward and it wasn't a try, look at how the Dogs are getting up in the line. They're all actually getting up in a line, mind you, which allows Kiraz as well to push that little bit further and to put pressure on the kick. Because if they don't, then guess what? The Knights catch that ball there, and then they're going to go through a complete set and get to the ball to the 30, the 40. The Knights just aren't showing any interest. They're not showing any interest. And yeah, it could get real ugly, Reeksa, and honestly, probably deservedly so. Because the Knights defensively, they had fantastic first half. Oh, they're going to check this. They're going to say this is maybe a knock-on. I don't know if it was, though. And if you guys think that I'm full of shit right now, then please let me know how I'm wrong. Like, from off the shoulder, I didn't... From the angle, it doesn't look like it's a knock-on, but when it came off his body, it looks like a knock-on. But I don't think it was in the end. Oh, what are you talking about? Forward pass in the commentary. It's not forward pass. I just don't know if I agree with that. Like, in the air, it looks like it, but it's still... So he goes up at the 10, 11, and the ball lands at the 11. But it's like he's adjudicated that call off of how it looks in the middle of the air, not on where it's landed. Because where it does in the middle of the air, it doesn't look like that's going backwards. It looks like it's going forwards. But where it landed on the grass, it looked like it was back at the 11, which would have been flat. Sure, but I don't know how they've called that a knock-on, but they haven't called the one from earlier on from the body on either side. Anyway. Definitely Adam O'Brien telling them that he said it in presses as well. Oh, in regards to the line, coming up in the line rather than anybody darting out, well, you know, if you're going to rely upon the line, then you need everybody in the line to give a shit, to get up in line, to push the ability for the winger to challenge for the ball. But it's a slow line. It's a slow line. So say it's 14-0, by the way. It's a Knights ball. By the way, don't forget, there's still a man in the bin. Crossland is still in the bin for the Knights. Knights haven't come out for the second half. Well, it goes on the basis that they... It goes absolutely on the basis that they got tired from the first half. But again, there's a lot of issues. Again, there is a significant amount of issues that you got to look at. So Dogs first tackle now second at the 35. 30 minutes to go here of the game. Hit that like button and subscribe. 30 minutes to go. No way the Knights let my assistant principal from 2 years score. Second half possession, 64% of the Dogs, 36% of the Knights. So it's the same old, man. It's exactly what I said at half time. If the Dogs maintain it, they blow it out. If the Dogs maintain the amount of ball from the first half, they blow it out because the Knights will get too tired. Did we get Brodie Jones from the HIA? I don't know, they haven't mentioned him. Fit tackle, Toby Sexton. And that does hurt. There's Saifidi loss and all that type of stuff for sure, but I don't think... See, look at the pressure. Look at the pressure. Ball's going to go to the Knights at the 13 here, but look at the pressure from the Dogs. This is how they're winning this game. This is how they're winning this game. The pressure is just so monumental. Oh, Dogs South next week, is it? Dogs play South. That'll be an interesting game. You'd have to be saying the Dogs are solid favourites. But then again, South will have a few players out. Is that who next week is? Hold on, I'm trying to get my thing to refresh you. Round 6. It is... No, Dogs have the bye next week. So round 7 is when they're going to play South. Is that the Easter Friday game? Yeah. So next week the Dogs have a bye. So if they win this game from here, then they'll actually be 5-0 with a bye. Is Burton back? No, Burton's not playing. Neither is Kickow. They're out for a few weeks. Do you reckon there should be a new rule where the bunker can decide if it's a forward pass or not when it comes to tries? Obvious ones, yes. Blatantly obvious ones, 50-50 ones, no. But blatantly obvious ones, yes. Hey, good intensity there from Bradman Bass. At least he made a tackle when nobody else in the Knights line decided to care at all. And then Kiraz comes up and breaks through to the 30. That shows you the intensity in their line. There is no intensity in the Knights line. No intensity in this Knights line at all. Third tackle here at the 40. 37-40. 40-20 attempt. They get this. It's massive. Ponga gets back, but no, it goes to about the 5. Look how slow Ponga is to get that ball, dude. Like, it's not rocket science to see how the Knights are losing this game and how the Bulldogs are winning this game. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Are you out? Are you down and out? Can you win this game, Knights? Sure. You've got 30 minutes, basically, to get 14 points. So there is a shoulder injury for the Knights, so they are now down to one player on the bench. They're like, Is it Adam Elliott who they're saying is out? You can't. The Knights have to be exhausted at this point. They have to be exhausted. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude. Okay, the Knights. Yeah, you're going to get pumped. Tyson Frizzell, one of your most experienced players, throwing it straight to the Dogs. Interesting. That's a forward pass from the play of the ball, but sure. So the Dogs get a set restart at the 32. One player on the bench, we're cooked. Oh, yeah, you're cooked. You're definitely cooked now. Crossland still with 2.5 minutes left in the bin. 2.5 minutes left in the bin. Second tackle for the Dogs. I wouldn't put it past still them scoring 40 in this game. I wouldn't put it past them. Out to Toby Sexton over the top, and they're going to score. They're going to score. Jacob Kiraz, good defense there from Bradman Best. Nope, good defense. And then they'll be taken out at the 5. 4 tackle, 5 metres out. Well, it was a good game until halftime. And now the Dogs are just going to pump him. Max King, 7 metres away. That's a knock-on from the Dogs. I'm going to disagree with you, Negan. Almost all tries are scored on forward passes. Don't get the bunker involved. I'm going to disagree with you. There's no way that try last night should have happened. There's no way the Reece Walsh try should have happened a couple of years ago. I would say that it's interesting that a Broncos fan in the chat is the one asking to have forward passes deliberated on when some of the biggest forward passes in recent years have come from the Broncos. But that's a penalty of the Knights. Hey, you need this. You need this. Soak the time up as well for the bin. But it will be a penalty here to the Knights, so you really need this to try and have some form of opportunity. It's a crusher. It's definitely a crusher. But no, I disagree. I think that you do need to have some form of ruling where you can clearly see that the Latrell Mitchell pass was out of the hands backwards and goes forwards, right? But that's fine because the ruling states that if it goes out of the hands backwards, then that is a backwards pass based off of momentum. And it's not down to opinion whether you think that he's standing still or moving. At the end of the day, if the ball's coming out of the hands backwards and he's going 1 mile an hour, the fact of the matter is that the ball came out of the hands backwards, so it is fine in the NRL ruling. But the bunker should absolutely be able to rule on just abhorrently awful, obvious forward passes. But I also think that a lot of the time, the bunker should actually be taken away from a lot of the middle of the park and should just be for tries. So only rule on forward passes in tries. I think the bunker realistically shouldn't have anything to do with the middle part of the game and only rule on if a try or no try. Third tackle. But to say that almost all tries are scored on 4 passes is a ludicrous statement. Well, good work by Tyson Frizzell here. He's 10 metres away. 13 metres away here from the line. Not a great game for the old Netherland. Out to Cogger. Cogger to Kanaponga. Kanaponga gets it. There's a left-hand side. Oh, dude, they're actually wild. You have a try there if you pass that ball to hands. If you just act and have a bit of composure here, Knights, I'm not blaming Greg Marcy for that. Greg Marcy knocks this ball on, but look at the pass there from Fletcher Sharp. I don't even know why they zoom in on Greg Marcy there. The pass from Fletcher Sharp is behind the body and up of Greg Marcy. So if he's on the run, he scores an easy try in the corner. Instead, he comes out the back like this to have to catch it like that. So of course he's going to drop the ball when he's in full motion and the ball's up here. That's on Fletcher Sharp. That isn't on Greg Marcy. That's not on Greg Marcy at all. As the 5'8", Bronson Cherry gets his ball to the 25. Should have thrown that ball forward. Sure, because they don't call for passes nowadays, apparently. Fletcher not sharp. Mate, you're onto it here. You're onto it here. If the Dogs score again, I'm making myself a coffee, by the way. Like, I'll just go up there and make a coffee. I can still speak and whatnot, but if the Dogs do score again, that means I don't believe the Knights have any opportunity from there, and then I will go make myself a coffee whilst the game still goes on. Good offload there from Preston. Third tackle. Reed Marnie, short ball, Toby Sexton. I will say, I think Toby Sexton's been the Dogs' best player today. I think Toby's been really good. Which is great to watch. He's a great bloke, man. Fit tackle at the 25. And I want nothing but success for him. Our club ruined him. Ruined him out of our club. So up it goes. And Ponga, good take. Good take. He'll get this ball to the 10. Does anyone here in the chat have any belief that the Knights may be able to find a way back into this game? Because I just can't see it right now. So Adam Elliott comes onto the field. So they are 13-13. Good offload there. Fletcher Sharp's away here. Fletcher Sharp. Oh, he's grabbed by the collar and taken down to the 44. That is a try. It is legal, but that is a try-saving tackle if I ever did see one. Cross under the 40. Can see a 24-6. Well, the Knights are on a bit of a move here. They get the ball to the right-hand side. They're on the move. Dane Gagai back onto the inside. Their fifth tackle, 5 metres out. You've got to spread this quickly. You've got to get up and spread it quickly. Dogs back in the line quickly. And that's too slow of a play the ball. That. And that's a good take there by Toby Sexton. And that's a penalty. Okay, Knights, I'm making a coffee. Oh, that's a penalty. I'm sorry, but that's just a boneheaded move by Jaden Brayley and Leo Thompson. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just going to go make myself a quick coffee. I'm going to put the kettle on at the very least. I'll put the kettle on and then I'll get back up in a second. That's just a stupid penalty. All right. Kettle's on. Kettle's on. It just annoys me when you see those real boneheaded plays, especially when you've got the Dogs 1 metre out. It's like, okay, yes, you can get the ball back if you put him back in, but you know you can't put him back in there. So it's better to have the Dogs 1 metre out from their own line than you got to fire up defensively and keep them down to their own 10-20. Instead, you give away a penalty. Apparently, you can make 300k a weekend for being a ref. Yeah, refs get paid a lot. I don't think it's 300k a weekend. We're talking, it's like 300. They get 300 to 500k a season, but a weekend I don't think so. Unless we're talking maybe Origin, and I don't think so. So that's going to be a penalty here to the Dogs. Another high contact there for the Knights. 20 minutes to go here of the game. Hit that like button and subscribe. Oh, that is a bin. Based off of what they've been calling this weekend, that is a bin. Exactly right, Sundo. That's why it's like two. How the fuck is that just a penalty? You've called. Oh my god, the NRL is just a shambles. How is that just a penalty considering you sent many players to the bin for way less contact than that? I just don't understand NRL. I don't understand. That should be a Knights player in the bin. It's a knock on there from the Dogs. How are we meant to ever define what is a high force bin? He's whacked Toby Sexton across the head there. Rexa says crackdown's over. Maybe it is, because how is that not a bin? Q-Raz didn't get the bin. I guess they're trying to be consistent. But consistent with what, though? Because if they're being consistent with the weekends, they are completely opposite to what we've been seeing as sin bins. Oh my god, the NRL is just such a mine. Oh, the NRL is impossible to understand the rules that I've been watching for all 30 years of my life. I've been watching every game for years and years and years, and even I don't understand the rules in our own game. How are we ever meant to expect people from other games and other countries and other sports to understand the rules of our game if we can't even understand what they're ruling on? He says Knights won't score. Yeah, probably. Bulldogs have been way better than them in this game. Bulldogs are very heavily deserving of this lead and this win. If they do win from here, there's still time to go. Negan says they'll restart the crackdown on Thursday. Probably, dude. Probably. Olivia says, sorry, it is annually. Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, there's more. Some refs can get more. Tea Time on Facebook is currently sharing tea on NRL and AFL players. Someone found an NRL ref on Tinder and he used his money to try and pick up. He used his money to try and pick someone up? Oh, jeez. Which NRL ref was it? Which ref was it? It'd be funny if they told us. I don't think they would have, though. But you can actually earn more than 300k. I'm pretty certain some of the big boppers are on like 400. I agree. What are they ruling on? It confuses me too. It just I'm trying to defend the Dogs here, who are kind of the reason why we're in this situation after last week. You know, but how can you tell me that was worse? That was less than Tino's? Oh, Mark, they've come into contact with each other. They aren't saying names of anyone, which is a good idea. No, it's a great idea. It's going to be a penalty to the Knights. He came into his own player, unless you're saying that a Bulldogs player pushed him. Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, Kiraz pushes Brabham Best into Martiu. It's the correct call. That is a penalty to the Knights. Some girl was going off about a Storm player that cheated on her and took the cat. So it's going to be very difficult from here on out, based on the fact that when someone says something, other people will either make up stories to be a part of it, or other exes and other people will come out and tell their stories. That may be true, but be careful believing everything that everyone writes now, because you get some real wannabes on TikTok who come out and make slanderous pieces on players that is usually because they've been rejected. Now, I'm not saying that's all of them. There is definitely a lot of them who come out on TikTok and on Instagram and all that and say their story and their piece about how they've had a bad experience with an NRL or an AFL player or whatnot. But it's like this happens in everyday life. If someone sees an alien in the Gold Coast, everyone's seen an alien on the Gold Coast. You know what I'm saying? If one person has a legitimate story, everyone wants to be a part of that story, so they make up that they were a part of a story involving it. Kiraz should be sent off for that. sent off for that, you reckon? Sent off for it. Jack Colger's going to have to go into the knee of Saluga Vita. Jeez, they're going to have no bench here tonight. They will have no bench for this last 17 minutes because Colger's not coming back on after that. Knee directly into the head. Knee directly into the head there. Oh, this is a good chance for me to make my coffee. Oh, God bless him. God bless him. Touch wood, he's all right. But I'm going to make a coffee quickly considering there is an injury here. So give me 1 second. Give me the 1 second. Where is a cup? That is a good idea. Where would a cup be in this place? That's the difficult thing about going to different Airbnbs and hotels is that you never know where anything is. And then when you find it, usually you forget about it too. We got it. I don't even know if you can hear what I'm saying right now. Alright, where is this? That, and then, hold up, got some sugar there. Just talking to myself over here, yeah, like that, and then I'll bring this over here so I can make it whilst the game is still going on. Alright, so it's actually Bulldogs penalty. I don't know where that came from, but sure. Alright, we're back. I think he said he's a Broncos fan. Who said he's a Broncos fan? Definitely not me, buddy. First tackle now. Is he chatting to himself? I was trying to chat to you guys. Could you not hear what I was saying? I said the difficult thing about always being in different Airbnbs and hotels and whatnot is that you don't know where anything is, especially Airbnbs. Knights get the ball. Oh, and then they knock it on. Oh, he said it's gone backwards, he reckons. Okay, Klein. No worries, brother. Sure. We'll let you have it. Alright, so second tackle now. Second tackle, and the Knights are inside their own 20. Like, can they still win this game? Hey, listen, you want a miracle? Sure, it's only 14 points. Penalty to the Knights. Okay, here's your chance, Newcastle. Here's your chance. Olivia, sometimes I wish I wasn't a Broncos fan. Good points, Kid Media. Sometimes I wish I wasn't a Titans fan, and then I say, don't be a bitch, and then I still do become a Titans fan and stay a Titans fan. Because I think of the people that are around us, not about the actual organisation and the corporates inside it. So, 16 minutes to go here, and it's Knights ball at the 45. Never give up on your team regardless. William says, hi. Hello, William. Sorry, I'm just currently making myself a coffee as we're here with 15 minutes to go. Do you check the room with a black light? No, Jay. I'm not that pedantic. If I get sick from that, then I'll have to deal with it, right? But it's a good room. All right, Knights now at the 30. I just realised I didn't bring a spoon with me. So I'm going to have to go back up and get a spoon in a second. Knights kick it over the top. Play that. Knights knock on, I think. Yes, Knights knock on. All right, I'm getting a spoon. Get a spoon. He is getting a spoon, and I'm talking to myself the entire time I go up here. He's getting it. Oh, I forgot where the spoon is. There we go. Down to the ready. Down to the ready. All right, we are back. Who's Ben Bunt? Someone's imagination's gone wild. A bunt is a thing in baseball, so maybe Ben plays baseball. And maybe Ben is bunting in baseball. All right, 14 and a half minutes to go here of this game. Still 14. I'm surprised the Dogs didn't blow this away. I'm surprised they went back into a bit of a shell. Knock on Dogs. Hey, Knights, if you want to win this game, you have to score now, and then you're actually only down by 8, and you have an opportunity. Which you really shouldn't have, considering that the Dogs have become a bit complacent in this game. Mitchell says, very loyal Panthers fan since October 2021 here. Might have to change soon. No, I became a Panthers fan in the grand final 2020. They lost, so I felt that adversity. I saw the adversity, so I became a Panthers fan. So I'm actually one of those real starving fans that were part of the time when they weren't good because they lost it, right? They lost it. Since then, obviously, they've gone on to win comps, but, that's just us, So first tackle, very loyal, though. I loyally stuck through that 80 minutes. So Knights now at the 10. Cogger to Kanaponga. Kanaponga short ball. And the Knights are 5 metres away here from the line. 6 again. 6 again here for Newcastle. If you score here, you've got a minuscule opportunity to win this game. 4 metres out, second tackle. It would be a miracle with no bench, though. Out to Cogger, short ball. Oh, jeez, he's close. About 2 metres short. And they give it out to Jack Cogger. And that was awful, Cogger. That was awful. Good pressure from the Dogs, something the Knights haven't done. But it's 6 again. That's why the good pressure came. Out to Crossland. Crossland then to McEwen. And McEwen is 13 metres away. All right, out the back to Leo Thompson. Short ball, Adam Elliott. And he's 5 metres out. That's not a forward pass, Dogs fans. Third tackle. Jaden Brayley goes for it himself. Oh, he's 1 metre short. Fourth tackle. You have to score on this attacking opportunity if you have a chance. Out to Kanaponga. Kicks it through. Played out. Bailey Hayward picks it up and he's away at the 20. At the 30. He's not fast enough. He'll be taken out at the 35. The 40. He'll get that ball offloaded out to Marcelo Montoya. Montoya at the 50. At the 40. The 35. The 30. The 25. The 20. He's taken down. Bulldogs ball. I've been a Broncos fan before Reece Walsh with the Warriors. I'm so sorry to hear your loss. And the Dogs, Cherry, 5 metres out, second tackle. So a Roosters fan say to a Panthers fan, I know how you feel. He needs help. Mitchell, you're lucky you don't get timed out for even making me think about whatever I just witnessed. Third tackle, that's a disgraceful thing to say. Roosters fan to a Panthers fan, I know how you feel. People are so desperate to feel like they're in the trenches. And it's like, mate, try being in the trenches for your entire history as a club. Fifth tackle to me is out. Not 1 year after 4 premierships, or not 1 year after you won 2 premierships just 5 years ago. Bailey Hayward at the back throws the ball to the grass. If it had hit the man, he actually probably would have scored. Kanaponga picks it up, and he's just going to be taken in goal. If they score here, it's over. It ultimately is already over, dude. It pretty much is over. It's just about... Oh, boy. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Dogs ball here from a dropout. Do that one. All right, so Dogs will get the ball at 35. So you're down by 14, Newcastle, you reckon? You're down by 14, and your decision is to go for a long dropout with 10 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. That shows you the care factor from the Knights today. That shows you right there. Bulldogs choked there. Should have scored. Should have. We have a scholar in the chat. I'm impressed you know that he was referring to you, Isaac. I'll give you that. I'm impressed. Most people don't realise who he's talking about. I do. But and people who are in the chat here frequently do. Forward tackle for the Dogs. 8 metres away from the line. Reed Marnie to Saluka Fafita. And he's half-meter because he realises it was you. It was him that you were talking about, Jay. Reed Marnie. Short pass. Try time for Kurt Mann. That should be L game over right there. The Dogs wanted it more than 8, that's for sure. Kurtman will score. Close up to the post. 18-0 with the kick to come. CJ, I told you. I tell you, man. I tell you. I see. So 9.5 minutes left here. Well, it was a really fun and close game until the second half started, and I'm surprised it took this long for the Dogs to score again, though, after their little flurry. After their flurry, getting those 2 quick tries, I am surprised it took them this long. But again, they've been the much better team today. The Knights have never shown any interest in actually wanting the ball and wanting to score for mine. And fair enough. Fair enough. Letting Kurtman score is insane. Why? Why get around him? He's on his 200th game. 49 tries in 200 games. Don't say that word, please. What word? Time me out for saying it. Who are you talking? Are you talking about Scholar? So 8.5 left here. Stephen Crichton to make it a 20-0 ball game. And the Dogs have a bye next week, so they will definitely stay top of the table next week as well, because they are clearing out on top of the table. Crichton will kick it. And it is 20-0 pois. 20-0 pois. Ooh. One sec. Oh, something over there. Fair enough. All right, 8.5 minutes to go. 8.5 minutes to go here. Mad hippie Sam's mate. Sam's he's a character, that bloke. He's a muppet, but he's a character. Knights kick it short, which they probably should have done off the dropout. And Dogs will get the ball. And now they throw this ball around. And they'll be taken down at the 15. They're still going at the 20. They may go on a bit of a flurry now, to be fair. Maybe now is when they they get it going. You'd hope so. Second tackle. Mitchell with a $10 donation says, I'm so sorry I have to go on some Desperate Blokes podcast. It's not actually like his podcast. You've got the Mad Dragon. I think it's ultimately his podcast, but yeah, I am going on that podcast on Tuesday, so we'll see how we go. And it'll be a fight to see who wants to lose more, realistically. That is a bin, based off of their rulings. But let's see if they actually call it. But thank you very much, Mitchell, for the $10 donation. I will be on it on the Tuesday. Marcelo Montoya wasn't happy. Of course he wasn't. There's no way this is just a penalty. Yeah, there's no way. But then again, the last one shouldn't have been just a penalty on the Knights. And it's just a penalty. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's just a penalty, guys. It's just a penalty. It's just a penalty. Why is it just a penalty? Why is it just a penalty when you've called that all weekend long? If anything, the Dogs have been harshly done here because the Knights should have had, at minimum, had 2 players in the bin today. But they've had 1 already. They did have 1, but they should have had more. But their ruling makes no sense. It makes no sense. So the Dogs out to Toby Sexton. Toby deserves a try today. 4 metres away from the line, 4 tackle. That should be 6 again. He deserves a try today. It will be 6 again. All right, so 3 metres out. Are they saying it's because he's the second man in, so there's a mitigation as he's already going down? But we've seen so many over this weekend that have been going down, and there is a bit of mitigation. It's just so confusing. Jacob Preston held up over the line. Held up over the line. I would say Toby Sexton's been the best Bulldogs player, though. I would have him as the best Bulldogs player, though. All right, so 4 tackle here for the Dogs, 5 metres out. 5 metres away. Now to Toby Sexton. They get it across again, and they will be fit tackle 2 metres away now. Fit tackle 2 metres away. Let's do that. There we go. They kick that ball through. Who wants it more? Knights get it, and they will get it taken in the in goal. I will say Thomas Can has at least showed a little bit of fight today. Thomas Can has been one of the better Knights players. Again, another great kick from Toby Sexton. Toby played very well today. I'd say Toby has been their best player today. I would have Toby Sexton as the best player for Newcastle today. Not for Newcastle, sorry. That's an insult. I meant for Bulldogs. I would say Toby Sexton has been the best player for the Bulldogs today. All right, up it goes. Out to the sideline area. They throw it back onto the inside, and Preston will get that ball. Preston will get that ball. First tackle here, 30 metres out. Can they make it 26-0? Can the Knights score concede 26 again? They conceded 26 the other week. So nothing has changed pre-bye to post-bye. Nothing has changed pre-bye to post-bye. Third tackle for the Bulldogs at the 13. Kurtman. Toby Sexton. Jamin Salmon loses the ball. You can't touch it, Saluka Fafita. And that will be Knights ball at the 10. Not that it matters because this game is well and truly over. We've got 5 minutes left. So to clarify in regards to this one, the Knights definitely now aren't on the same amount of points differential as the Titans, Brenton, like you tried to tell me yesterday. The Knights will go from 9th and they will stay in 9th because no one can. This is the last game of the round, so they'll stay in 9th, but their points differential is going to be shot. The Titans are on -4. But above them, because we only had to lose by less than 2 points less than that, and we would have actually been above the Raiders still in 7th. But the Bulldogs will go to the top of the table, and their points differential is very good. Knights should have gone to Bali. No, because the last time the Knights went to Bali and then came back, they absolutely whooped us at McDonald Jones Stadium. They whooped us. Absolutely whooped us at McDonald Jones Stadium. And that is going to be a penalty here to Newcastle. 4 minutes left here. Best player of the night today for the Knights might have been the ref. Yeah, I will say the Dogs have been harshly done here today. And yet they're winning 20-0. I will say that there's been more inconsistent calls against the Dogs than there has been the Knights. Should have had another bye. Well, the Bulldogs got 2 byes in a row. The Bulldogs have achieved 2 byes in a row. There's that much for you. All right, Adam Elliott. He'll be 15 metres away here from the line. And they go out to the right. Can they at least score a try here, the Knights? Can the Knights at least score a try? Kalen Ponga. He's 10 metres out. Deary me, hold on. Ooh. I don't think the Knights score. I don't think so. I don't think the Knights score. And they kick it through, and that's going to be a dropout. That would be, my friends, a dropout. See, I was a bit distracted over there. Bulldogs going to win a premiership, even though I want the Sharks to. They've looked good in the first 5 rounds. Long way to go. They've looked good in the first 5 rounds. Long way to go. 2 minutes 40 to go. Two and a half minutes left. Oh, it was so much fun until it wasn't. Now it's just like a slogfest to finish off this game. It's one of those real kind of like delayed last 10 minutes where it's like, you know the game's over, nothing's going to happen from it, and Knights just aren't going to do anything. I'm going to edit some BKRtravel videos after this. I'm not going to do much outside today. I might get like a curry or something later. Second tackle out to Cogger. Because for me, I know it's 8:09 PM for you guys, but it's 3:30 for me. Out to Cogger. Cogger gets it then to Thomas Cant, who's playing wing right now. And then comes back in at the 10, 4 tackle, minute 44. Can they at least score a try? I need some coffee. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get through this last 10 minutes without this. And knock on from the Knights. It's deserved. Who do you go for? I go for the Wellington Orcas. Big Wellington Orcas fan. You don't have a body cam, do you? I would want to get like one of those body cams because it's so easier to... When I'm filming videos, you feel awkward like with the putting it like that in their face. It's like you kind of want to have it like here so it just captures everything and then you can have something to film you kind of deal. But no, I don't. Why are you referring to the body cam though? So the Bulldogs have the same points differential as the Dogs and only 4 better than the Storm, but they are 2 points ahead of them. More discreet, yeah. But the thing is, in India, man, like they actually really and like when the cameras are on. I don't know, they're big fans of like YouTube and stuff. They're the biggest country for YouTube. Second tackle here with the Dogs at the 30. I've seen vloggers using them more these days. I think it's a better idea. Like, and that's the thing. If I was like an Instagram or TikTok videoer, I could put it in my like pocket there, not in this shirt, but like I put it in the pocket there and film it. But then that's portrait, not landscape. And knock on there from the Dogs. So Bulldogs next 5 is the bye. The Rabbitohs at home, the Broncos away, the Titans away, and Canberra away. That's 3 decently long away trips. 9 seconds left here. But the next time they play will be against the South Sydney Rabbitohs on Good Friday. Easter Friday there. Oh, come on, ref. Why are you forcing this scrum to happen? Why are we forcing the scrum to happen? Come on, ref. Alright, so Jack Cogger feeds the scrum. What a waste of time this one was. And then they just run it into the halfway point. Why'd you even pack the scrum? Why'd they even pack the scrum? So anyway, Bulldogs 20-0, very much deserving. I don't know why Dogs fans doing this. That's the Broncos celebration, but sure. Dogs go back to the top of the table. The Knights will be stuck in 9th position, which is exactly where they were before this game started. They will stay there. Unfortunately, the Knights looks really poor today. The Dogs have to bye next week, so no matter what, they will be first after next week as well. And the Knights next week will play... Jeez. Oh, they play the Tigers, don't they? So you'd better be hoping you can bounce back in that one. But Tigers are going to want to bounce back as well because they've had a bit of a rough trot as late as well. But all right, guys, I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next stream. Don't forget to go check out BKRtravel. The latest video is there, but there's going to be a new video tomorrow of us walking around in Vegas. Want some money as well. And yeah, that is a cheeky little vlog that you'll be seeing tomorrow. So go subscribe to BKRtravel. But I appreciate you. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya!